So we are in Brno for McDonald's 2 qualifying laps around this long Czech circuit. Definitely is one of my favourites on the calendar. And definitely is a favourite for Honda in recent years. Yamaha have been pretty decent as well. Suzuki, we'll see how good they are. They won that great round the Sachsenring for McDonald. Definitely seems to be struggling more on the hard tyres than the Yamaha, but he's getting the better results so far. And if we continue the pattern, McDonald should be romping away this race. We will see though. He's done that in the past though around it. Definitely is one of his better circuits in the second half of the season. He does love the second half of seasons. He saw him escape to the title last season. We've seen that in Moto2, Moto3 as well. It's just something about the second half of the season. No circuits. He just seems to perform well. And Brno is definitely among the best in the calendar for him. So we'll see what will happen. Improved around the Aston as well. Another one of his favourite circuits. That past form does seem to carry over for the season, even though he hasn't shown it too much on the other circuits. And he's circuit up the Americas and whereas he's been really successful at. The guitar is looking pretty good in the season debut until that final couple of laps. This will complete his first banker lap here. And this pretty quick circuit. It's got some fast corners, but it's mostly dealing with the undulation and the braking zones. This has a 51.3. That's pretty good, isn't it? You'll find out after this lap though. You've got corners like this where you have to be patient to be on the throttle. And so trying to control that wheel spin, control that throttle in the race will be very important, especially for tyre wear. As this is a long race for these MotoGP bikes. To go into the right hand and look at that. Over a quarter of a second up on his fast lap in this first session. Get down a couple of gears. So easy to run ride in that right hand and all getting on the curbing. Bike does not like that. As he go into the left as he wave to the fans to the outside. And all hitting too much of that curb on the inside. This might have ruined his lap. This middle section. First messing up going over that curb and then clipping the inside curb. Then they're half a second down. I think this is the lap for McDonald then. Thankfully that first effort was good enough by over a second ahead of Hulk, who sneaks ahead of Petrucci by 9,000ths of a second to make it through the qualifying two. Very disappointing for the Italian to miss out after such a strong first half of the season. Then Miller in fourth, Alicia Spargo in fifth. You got Battista in sixth. At the back you got your usual suspects, the KTMs and Sam Lowe's. So let's see what the Suzuki can do in qualifying 2. As here goes McDonald for his one effort in qualifying 2 to grab that pole. And if he produces a lap time similar to what he did in the first qualifying session, he'll definitely be right up there. As he short shift start to make sure he gets a smooth getaway from the right hander. And then into the left, slightly wide. Gets up the gears nicely enough. Runs wide in the right though. Again, we'll have the short shift up to third to get that smooth exit. Let's head down the hill into this right hander. Again wide. You can see a bit of bumps as well. Gets it down to second gear. And all drifts right onto that curb again. Means he's right into the next right. This is a scruffy lap from McDonald so far. Gets smooth enough on the power though out the left. Need to do this downhill into this left hander. Oh, that's beautifully done over that curb. Kissing it like you need to. And then out the right hander, climbing over the brown and getting downhill. This is why the braking is so tricky around this circuit. These undulations going up and down the hills. It's what makes this circuit fantastic as well. Great for overtaking. Expect lots of that in the race. As you go into the left and into the right. Don't be breaking into this corner. Just roll off the throttle and then get hard on it. You go up the hill towards the final couple of corners on the lap. You think the tricky part of the lap is over? No, this left hand is very tricky. That braking zone. In the last corner, you just chuck the bike at it. As he gets away in third, fourth. It's another 51.3, which is good enough for the middle of the second row alongside Dovi and Pedro. It's a bit disappointing he's not on the front row though, as that belongs to Marquez and Vinales, so by just 0.02 of a second. And then Rossi in third. And then we've got Crutcher, Lorenzo and Zarco. And Iannone leading the fourth row of Volga and Scott Redding. So let's see what McDonald can do from a much better starting position than last time out. As we look at the grid with Blue still in the middle of the second row, but he's got his title contenders right in front of him, all three of them. And then looking further back, there is Magnum leading the fourth row and Rins in his usual 18th position, has a bat on his hand to score some points today. So here's McDonald revving up on the grid, waiting for the lights to appear. And go out for this sixth lap race. As he has a good enough getaway. Down the inside of Dovi heading towards the first corner. Down the inside of Rossi, down the inside of Vinales and Marquez to take the lead maybe. As he short shifts up to third, hogs the apex and gets away on his hard shod rear. Suzuki, but with medium fronts. So be looking to get away in clean air as Rossi tries to challenge for the lead and takes it into the right-hander. Vinales also next around the outside, McDonald retains second, so Rossi leads, McDonald second, Vinales in third. Here goes McDonald into the right-hander, having a little look at Rossi. Might compromise him on the exit as Marquez in third, head of Vinales now. Oh, Lorenzo up to fourth as well, and here comes Lorenzo down the inside with Vinales. As McDonald makes the move on Marquez. What is going on in this opening lap? Some fantastic battling. Told you have some good racing round here. Now here comes Pedrosa and Dovi. As McDonald gets shuffled down along with Marquez, who's down to 8th behind Crutcho now. McDonald down to 6th after leading after the first corner. And now Crutchlow pushes McDonald wide in the right as he tries to get on the power on this hard tie on this opening lap. That will not be easy. But he goes down the inside of Pedrosa and Dovi. Runs slightly wide, that allows Pedrosa back by. But he's back into the top 5. As it's Yamaha, Honda in front. But here comes the Suzuki for 4th. I should say Yamaha, Ducati, Honda. Now here comes the Suzuki. Got 4 different constructors in the top 5 places. There's a Yamaha 1-2. As we go on to the second lap. Lorenzo no doubt did the fast lap. Not opening lap. What a season he's having. As well in the middle part. Battling for podiums. Not quite got the pace for wins, but he's outshining Dovi on quite a few occasions now as the Spaniards. And he's just blocking McDonald here through the left-hander. Well, McDonald tries to force it into the right, but that means he runs slightly wide as Dovi gets past with Jose in 4th, 5th. So now we've got a couple of Yamahas, a couple of Ducatis. A Rogue Suzuki in there. So it runs wide but maintains 4th. And he wants to clear Lorenzo quick. As I said, he's got a medium front tire. He needs to take advantage of that. But now Dovi pushes McDonald wide. And so instead of attacking Lorenzo, now he's stuck behind his blocker, Dovi. It all goes down the inside, Dovi into the right. Nice move. Back into 4th. But look at that gap. That time he's lost to Lorenzo thanks to Dovi interfering. But luckily, the top 2 Yamahas are keeping themselves honest so far. So they're not pulling away in the lead. And here goes McDonald looking to get past Lorenzo. Right in the slipstream of the Ducati. Does he have the power to maybe dive down the inside into the penultimate corner? He does. And grab 3rd. Does a little block pass on Lorenzo. He's done that through the years, hasn't he, the Spaniard? get some of his own treatment back, but then he dives down the inside in the final corner as Rossi does the fastest at 32 flat. Vinales actually does the fastest at 51.8 as McDonald goes around the outside of Lorenzo in the first corner. What a move! And we got beginning of this third lap as Pedrosa past Dovi for 5th. And it's like Vinales got ahead of Rossi for the lead. As Dovi and Pedrosa are still battling. Lorenzo's apparently in front of us. I'm not sure what the game is looking at. Well, he does go around the outside into the right. What a move. There's Rossi around a second in front. So here goes McDonald down the inside again. Lorenzo. Well, look at that from Vinales and Rossi in front. Oh, keeps the tight apex here. Blocks off that move. He's learnt from Dovi. Diving down the inside on the previous lap. And then see, now he's catching the two Yamahas now that he's got ahead of the Ducatis. Let's see what McDonald can do in McDonald time in all part of the race. So he tends to come on strongest. This hard tyre as well up to temperature. Should be working in his favour. Tyre wear not looking too bad at the halfway mark of this race. And look at that into the left-hander. Really does take full advantage of being uphill, being able to brake late. And using that camber to get towards the apex or the left-hander. He's now just under half a second off the lead. So Renzo in 4th is almost a second back. Look at his pace. He's on the back of the chainsaws. Oh, drifts wide in the final corner though. That's not a good final corner. Still does the fast at 51.3. Half a second faster than anyone else so far in this race. He goes in the second half of it. Let's look at that. Rossi trying to make a dive for the lead. Vinales fights back. And here comes McDonald round the outside of Rossi. Elbow to elbow with the 9-time champion. As all, he's got to cede that position into the left-hander, does he? As he tries to cut back. He's got Pedrosa and Dovi battling for 5th. Oh, he goes down the inside. Rossi wasn't expecting that. As Lorenzo 1.6 back now. In 4th. And look at McDonald over the tail of Vinales for the lead now. He's passed Rossi. He's got to block the inside though in this left-hander. He knows that, understands that. Does that well against the veteran Italian. Oh, but not into the left. Here comes Rossi back. Compromises McDonald into the right, but he holds on for the time being. As Vinales not able to get away though in the lead. A great battle going on between McDonald and Rossi. And oh, McDonald goes very wide in the right though. Will you be able to accelerate away on the exit? He will. And dive back down the inside for Rossi for second. And now he's lining up Vinales. He goes up the hill. Maybe he can make the same move he did on Lorenzo just a couple of laps ago on the Spaniard for the lead of the race in Brno. Well, Cal Abraham's backyard. He does it on his 4th lap. But can he hold on to the lead though? It's the most important question to answer now. 51.7 from McDonald. Really is flying in those 51s. He goes into the first corner. Felt like the rear was sliding away from McDonald there, but he hooks up the apex. And now maybe he can leave the Yamahas behind, let them squabble between themselves so he runs away in the lead. He goes into the left-hander, hooks up that apex beautifully. And then into the next left, hooking up that apex as well. He goes up to third, and that almost 6/10 in front of Vinales already. On this penultimate lap of the race. What a ride from McDonald after being shuffled back out of the top 5 after leading on that opening lap. He has certainly powered his way back in this race. And with half a lap to go on this penultimate lap, he's just ahead of Vinales as it was quicker in that first sector. The Yamaha's better in that second sector. Then this third sector's a bit even. But McDonald able to hold off Vinales. There's no going to the left, which is his favourite corner on the track. No doubt about that this race. And runs right into the right. Got on the power. Smoothly enough, he's half a second ahead of Vinales. It's now on this final sector. Again, it's pretty even between the two manufacturers. Nice and smooth on the power for McDonald as he goes on to the final lap of the race with another fastest lap, another 51.3. As he's 7/10 ahead of Vinales, with Rossi still in third. What a way to start the second half of the season again from McDonald if he wins here in Brno. As Rossi ahead of Vinales for second. That's important for the championship. He goes into the left-hander. Oh, Vinales takes it back from Rossi into the second corner or third corner of the lap. It's like a 1.2 second gap for McDonald. He's broken the Yamahas behind as they squabble for second for the scraps. Just like they have all race long. Are there two more evenly matched teammates than Rossi and Vinales on the grid? I don't think so. Maybe a Spargo and Smith at the back of the grid, but at the front, definitely is Rossi and Vinales as they're still squabbling over second with half a lap to go. See Rossi 7/10 behind now, ahead of his younger teammate. Already apprentice overall, the master. His final couple of sectors as he go through the right. As you can see, Vinales ahead of Rossi. With just one sector to go. Goes through the right, hooks up, kisses that apex beautifully. Gets on the power, the rear tyre, that hard tyre is really warm, but front tyre, the medium's pretty damn good. He leads by a second through the left, through the right, and on to another majestic McDonald victory in Brno. What a race. What a battle in the first half of that race. Who won between Rossi and Vinales? It was Vinales by just over a tenth of a second, with Lorenzo in fourth ahead of Dovi. Great race from the Spaniard. Half a second ahead of his teammate, with Marquez recovering to sixth ahead of Zarco. Petrucci, what a race from the Italian, in eighth on his Premac ahead of Crutcher and his teammate Redding, who rounds out the top 10. Then Spargo, Alex Rins in 12th. Great race from the Spaniard ahead of Baz Barbera. Great race for Vintia. The Battista grabbing the final point ahead of Pedrosa. What happened to Danny? What happened to Inoni in 20th? And Paul Spargo at the back behind the home hero. So in the championship, Vinales leads by 13 points. With McDonald up to third, just 2 points off Rossi, 11 ahead of the Victoria. So he's now over a race win behind Vinales at the top, with Marquez dropping back in fifth, 37 points behind now for the Spaniard, with Petrucci still in sixth, all by himself, 23 points behind Marcus and 21 ahead of Lorenzo, who climbs to seventh ahead of his fellow Spaniard veteran Pedrosa, with Zarco up to ninth ahead of Crutchlow, and then further back you've got Baz up to 15th ahead of Jonas Folger, who had a very disappointing race, did the German as well, with no points scored. Okay, Abraham is at the foot of the table, not good to see at his home circuit, as Ducati up to second ahead of Honda by a single point, while Yamaha lead by 45 points. Suzuki in fourth all by themselves, so is Aprilia in fifth, KTM at the back. But on the team's rankings, Yamaha lead by 94 points over Ducati now, 10 points ahead of Suzuki, with Honda the big foolers down to fourth now after holding second before this race, with Mark VDS in 11th, 8 points, 12 behind Avinta and 8 ahead the factory KTM effort. And yes, his third victory of the season for McDonald, but if history repeats, he is just going to pull away in the second half of the season. Let's see if he rolls. Beginning with a visit to the Red Bull Ring in Austria, and then Silverstone in Great Britain, before he has to make another decision on his future in the final 6 races of this season. Which team will he ride for, as he is showing that he's very much at home on the Suzuki. No tyre issues round Brno, unlike in the Sachsenring. So let's see if we can break the pattern in Austria and get another podium, maybe even another victory there. But Southwatch, and I'll see you next time.